Tom here, FlipAnything USA. I caught this video, this gentleman on my left, doing a recorded call, getting some advice from Ben. I'm a big fan of Ben Mallah. He's actually one of the few, if not the only person I've seen on YouTube that I really believe is legitimate, other than myself. In as much as he brings value, he's a real investor. He started with nothing, same as I did. So I like Ben. Caught a couple things that I think Ben kind of maybe missed or didn't get discussed anyways that I thought I'd elaborate on a little bit. Also, the takeaways that this gentleman came away with, I don't think were the best takeaways, and I'll explain that as well. Let's go ahead and watch this thing.
So as you read from the title, guys, I paid $300 for a 15-minute phone call with Ben Mallah. I know, guys, $300 for 15 minutes. I already know what people are going to say. I get it. Trust me, I understand. But I've never been a...
It's money well spent. Listen, if you don't know what you're doing or you're new, getting to talk to Ben or somebody like me that's been doing this for, 30, 40 years, it's a great deal.
It's the best thing I ever did!
You guys don't know who Ben Mallah is? Ben Mallah is everywhere. I'm going to put a few of his links down below. The guy is a big real estate guy, a real estate tycoon. That guy has thousands of units. The guy's making an insane amount of money through real estate. And he's pretty much doing what I want to do, but at a way bigger level and for a long time. So again, just like he even says, the best way to actually get knowledge and to shorten up that gap and get to where you want to be as fast as possible is you find somebody, a mentor or whoever it is, somebody that's knowledgeable in what you want to do. They're doing it at a high level, and you ride their coattail. I can't ride his coattail just because the dude's busy as crap. But the next best thing I can do is buy a little bit of his time and get a little bit of a phone call and see what information I can get.
I think that this kid's open for, learning more, and he understands that knowledge is power, and it is. I've got a mentorship, and I've already got several millionaires, people that have made $1 million in a year or less, or over in a couple of years, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Now I'm waiting for a call from one of his people, Raj, who's gonna get me connected. I'm gonna make sure I get permission and all that, and then we're gonna go from there, guys. We're gonna see what happens.
Richard, you have Ben on the line.
Hey, Ben.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. Hey, just real quick, man, I watch all your stuff, man. I love all your content, man. The way you do the stuff with your kids, man, you remind me of my father. But yeah, I watch all your stuff, man. I love it all.
I appreciate it. So what's going on with you?
I'm 24 right now. I have 3 rentals in Massachusetts. I got a two-family, a 3-family, and a single family. There's probably around, in all of them, if I sold them all, I'd probably have, I don't know, one of them maybe like around 200 and something of appreciation. And then I'm just kind of think of what's the next step. I don't know whether I should go ahead and try 1031 exchange these things to try to go, buy bigger properties, or if I should keep these and try to work on getting these all in LLCs and back them up. So I guess the first question is, should my properties be in an LLC, like an individual LLCs for each one of them?
I personally, all my career have been, every single property I own is in a separate LLC, and I consider it its own business. And the only reason why is that it isolates. So like if something goes wrong in your life somewhere else, they can't come after that LLC. But you have liability insurance on these properties, right?
Yes, yeah, I do.
And if you have liability, you're covered, but it's really nice. I don't know. I list everything as a separate LLC, and then on my tax return, it has its own line item, on the Schedule D, isn't it?
So look, I'll jump in here just for a second. I don't think you need to hold all your properties in individual LLCs unless that single LLC has at least $500,000 equity for you, because you have insurance that'll take care of that, and then you can buy umbrellas which can give you coverage over and above that, and it's very important. But if, anyways, so that I'm just going to say right off, I don't think it's important to have an LLC for each property unless they're of considerable value. If you got $100,000 there, or 150,000, or I think he said 200,000 between 3 different properties, you don't need it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's
but basically what the LLC does is it separates it like its own business.
So Ben's right. Look, when each LLC has all the rights or limited partnership, they kind of have all the rights of a person. It is a completely different entity, just like a person is a different entity. And when he says it keeps your problems isolated to that one LLC, I had a friend of mine had a kid basically drown to the point of being brain dead in his apartment buildings. He got sued for, I think, $7 million, and this was, he only had $3 million coverage. He had $2 million in umbrellas, but he still had $2 million over and above that he was exposed to if they'd granted the $7 million. Now, so that's why it's so important to isolate it. I call it cancer. If one of your partnerships or LLCs gets cancer, the cancer is limited to just that one entity, and that's what Ben's talking about. And I get that. If you own these properties outright yourself, I mean, again, a cancer could be, you shoot somebody and you're wrong, and now they're going after your assets. You know what I mean? But you have insurance. If damages happen within the property, you have insurance for that, and, chances are you're going to be covered with insurance if you got properly insurance. So I just don't think it's worth it till you start having stuff that's more than $500,000 a piece. You wouldn't want to hold millions of dollars in one LLC unless it was just one entity that you had that much equity, and then there's other ways of protecting the asset beyond that. Let's keep watching.
It's for, accounting purposes or for liability purposes. Nobody can, if you run somebody over with your car and they want to come after you personally or do something and somebody sues you, they can't, it's a separate company. They can't come after that company.
I understand.
So, I mean, I can just say, the advice I got 30 years ago was always keep everything in a single member, separate LLC, and that gives you some protection.
So now about the single member LLC, the only thing I don't know if that's the greatest thing or not, and I'll tell you why. One of the beauties of having an LLC with multiple partners or a limited partnership, I use a lot of multiple limited partnerships for my wife and my kids are partners, is that they don't have the right to bust an asset if it affects other people. If you have, it wouldn't matter if it was an LLC or a limited partnership, if you had one that was just, me, myself, and I own it, and you're the one that, is the subject of running over somebody, like Ben said, well, it's going to be easy to bust that LLC if you're the only person that has an interest in it. So it's important that somebody else has an interest in it, because then they don't have the right to bust it, break it open, meaning, or get at it if there's other members within it. So anyways, something to consider, but that's a whole nother topic in itself. Ben is right about what he's saying. These are the reasons for it. He learned this. I think he was under the wing of somebody. He got mentored. He said, I've heard it in another video, he had a good mentor. And I think the guy was of substantial wealth, and it would make sense why he would do that. And Ben is of substantial wealth now compared to where he began with, so he's using it as well. I don't think this kid needs individual LLCs unless, he could put them all in one. It wouldn't even matter in this case. And there's another reason to do that, too, I'll get to in a minute.
So, it's up to you. As long as you got liability insurance, if something happens on that property, you should be covered. But
I agree.
It's just another way of protecting your ass, basically.
Yeah.
And it also really works out well with your accounting. It's listed as a separate business, separate company, money in, money out.
And what he's talking also, this is also important too, especially the bigger your portfolio gets, money in, money out. In other words, the money is basically passed through from your personal income to the LLC. In other words, it's the same. If you got multiple partners, then you create, K1s, and everybody gets their proportionate amount, allocated to them at the end of the year. Where I was going with this, with what Ben said, the money in, money out, it's very important not to commingle your LLCs. In other words, you don't pass money from one LLC to the other. It goes back to you. If I have two LLCs and I need to take money from one to help the other, it's going to go to me first, and then I'm going to hand it over to the other as a capital contribution or whatever. I'm going to loan it money. Don't commingle them. That's a mistake. Anyways, we'll keep going.
And, it's just very common for people to utilize that.
Gotcha. Okay. So then I should. And you know what? Just from what you're saying, I will. Because, again, you're right. With all that liability and all that stuff. And it is easier. The next question I had, man, was
Yeah, the other problem, too, on this, the accounting, you're going to have to do a tax return for each and every LLC, and it will add to your expenses for you. And if you're small, like I hear people that they get an LLC before they even buy a property. It's silly. You don't need to do that. And like I said, if you get 5 LLCs, to hold, 5 properties that don't even have $1 million equity. You're just really increasing your cost when you're already protected for the most part. That's my thoughts.
So I just told you, right? I have 3 properties. Liquid right now, I could probably, in 6 months, I'll be liquid around 60, 70, around 60. What's the next step? What do you think I should be doing after this, man? I mean,
Well, all I did was whatever property I had
yep.
that I can get some equity out, I tried to pull the equity out. But you got to make sure you spend it wisely. And the next, you're a smart guy. You know what you're doing. I can tell that. You need to find the next deal that can make you another 50 or 100 grand.
Yeah, you're right.
You got to keep growing. You got to keep moving. You got to keep making moves. But you need cash to do it.
Yeah.
So, you got to accumulate a nice down payment and go out there and look for deals. I don't know. Maybe you can find another $150,000 deal. You're only going to need about 30 grand to put down. Get the money, find the deal. You just got to raise the money and find a deal. But you should always, if you're really serious about buying more real estate, you need to keep raising money. You got to keep tapping any ass that you can and you have any kind of fat in. And that's the only way you're going to be able to grow. You're going to need the down payment.
Gotcha. Okay, so then on the topic of, go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, you could, and if you had any, I don't know. I mean, you could. Well, you already got mortgages on all these things, so
Yeah.
you can't really cross-collateralize too much. But the best thing is to just keep trying to get your hands on whatever money you can and go out and find the next deal that you know you can make money on. It's the simplest business in the world.
When it comes to raising capital, right? When it comes to raising the money, so I thought of 2 things, right? Because I saw on one of your videos, you had one of your sons and he bought like 3 little single families or duplexes right back to back to back, and you're like, what are you doing? You could have used the $200,000 and bought a $1 million property instead of buying, whatever small. I forgot exactly what happened, but I was thinking, okay, so I have 3 properties, right? Would it make sense to sell all 3, take all the money that I'm gonna make from that, and then go into a big unit or whatever it is?
It makes sense if you can find a deal that's worth doing. I mean, right now, if you sold all 3 of those properties, you'd have equity of how much? 250,000, you said, or how much?
Yeah, pretty close. I'd have probably like 250 easy.
Well, 250 can get you $1 million deal. But is there $1 million deal that's worth buying that's going to replace all the cash flow we're getting? Because right now, you're getting how much cash flow together? You're getting what, about $4 or $5 grand a month?
Yeah, like 4,500.
So, you need to see, is there $1 million deal out there, or the deals out there that are worth doing that?
So here's the thing. Here's where the problem, the conflict is. First thing I picked up right away. He's talking about pulling the equity out of his 3 properties or sell these in order to buy something that's worth a lot more. The problem with that is, here's a couple problems. One, if he took the advice that he put each of these in a separate LLC, now you've got 3 separate ownerships. They can't collectively go into a 1031. So in other words, if he sold all 3, he's got to take his lumps and pay taxes on each of those, on the money from each of those. Okay, if he's going to 1031, then he really needs all of those entities to be owned by one entity. In other words, all 3 properties are owned by one entity. They can sell those, and then they collectively can go into purchasing another property and own it in the same name of that one LLC. You create a mess when you have 3 different LLCs and all 3 of them are going to buy the same property. So in other words, you sell each of those, and there's let's say LLC 1, 2, and 3. Those are separate entities now. When you sell those, now those 3 entities are now partners within another entity. So you're creating just a myriad of paperwork, and it just gets ugly and it gets more expensive for your bookkeeping. That's the first thing. If you sell all 3 and you get the cash, you got tax consequences. You're not going to have that much money. If he owned them personally together, then he could do an LLC. If he sold them all at once, that's also difficult to do because it's hard to get all 3 things sold within the time to close something. That can be a problem too. That's one of the conflicts with having individual LLCs, is that it just becomes very kind of a circuitous mess for those to to parlay into a new purchase into a new LLC. So now you got 3 LLCs in the partner of another LLC, 4 LLCs, when you could have had it just with one all the time.
You know, but yeah, if you sold everything today, you could get your hands on $250,000 and you go out and buy a deal for $1 million. You know, but it's got to be the right deal. That's going to give you, you know, some upside and have the potential of maybe, you know, making $10,000 a month or $8,000, double what you're making. You know, what is there upside and something you can do to fix it up and make it more valuable? Or, you know, it's all about finding the next deal. You know, does it make sense? But
So look, Ben's all about value add, and I am too. And sometimes value add can be just simply as you could buy a property that's in great shape, and the value add in this situation is raising the rents and just doing maybe some minor fix-up, but basically identifying assets that are being leased too cheap that you can raise the rents on. But anyways, let's keep going.
why don't you just do this? Why don't you, if you borrow a little more money against that house, it's not going to affect your cash flow that much. Okay, let's say you go out and you still get your hands on $100,000, right?
Yep.
If you're able to get a bank to loan you $100,000 on that house, and now you have to pay them for the extra $100,000. You know, that's going to be about another, you know, $500-600 a month.
Yeah,
You know,
it'll be fine.
You give it up. You go get your hands on $100,000, and you pay the bank an extra $500 a month, and now you got $100,000 to work with. You know, and work with that. And then you said in about 6 or 7 months you're gonna have some money coming to you. You know, but $100,000 will buy you a $400,000 deal or more. Could be a $500,000 deal. You know?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and see, that's good advice, because having $100,000 that you can get at, I would do it in an RLOC, a revolving line of credit. I know the HELOCs, I think most of the HELOCs are revolving, but some are not. But the main thing is that when you're going to borrow money like that, don't just borrow the money and start paying interest on $100,000. Have the money available. Get a pre-approved that you can pull the money out, and now you've got a loan in place. Even though you're not getting charged any interest on it, you will when you write a check for it when you do pull it out. So very important to have money available, but don't pay for it before you need it.
Don't fill it all. Be diversified. You keep some of the ones that you're already leveraged on, the cash flow, and then tap the one that you got the cash flow, the equity in, and then see what you can do with $100,000.
Yeah, that's good advice, and it makes it simple because he's pulling it just from one asset.
See if you go out and find a deal for $500,000 that has some upside that maybe you could be worth $700,000 or $800,000. You know, or you know.
Yeah, no, I get what
And the other good part of that is you're not paying taxes on it. In other words, you didn't have to sell the asset; you're just pulling the equity out to do it.
exactly what you're saying. I think you're right. I was just thinking, because I didn't know if you would recommend that aggressive, because I felt like what I was saying was an aggressive approach. I felt weird even trying to saying that, because I thought that's super aggressive. I'd rather not, you know.
Listen, it's okay to be aggressive if you can easily find a deal that really pays off. You know.
Yeah, the deal. I don't know. That would be the tougher part. I do work with a few wholesalers, but even a $1 million deal that does more than $4,500 cash flow, that'd be something.
I mean, right now is a tough time. Prices need to come.
Yeah, $1 million asset ought to get you, maybe 9.5%, 10%, 12%. I mean, there's no limit to what you can do if you make a good deal. That's what I always tell people. There's no bad real estate. There's just bad deals. Only concentrate on making a good deal, and you'll never get hurt.
Down because the interest rates are up, and but the deals are going to start coming. Now's a good time to lowball. Find all the stuff that's sitting around, maybe on the market that went stale, it's not selling, and offer them 25 or 30% less.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, now's a good time to lowball because people aren't qualifying for what they used to qualify for. So prices have to come down.
Gotcha.
You got to pay the bank more. But if I was you, I mean, you want to grow, go see if a bank will give you $100,000 on that house, and then now you got a down payment for a $500,000 deal, and see what deals are out there. Maybe you buy two 250s. Maybe you buy something for two. Maybe you buy something for another two. Maybe you buy something for three. You got options. But raise the cash and find the deal.
Gotcha. No, you're right. You're right, 100%.
That's all great advice.
And this 15 minutes is almost up, so I had one more question.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I had one more question that I had in my head. And that was so. This one's kind of more. I told my buddy that I was gonna call you, and he watches your stuff as well. I'm the one that got him onto it, and he was like, "Well," and I know you answered this question again, but just because I kind of wanted to hear it again, it's what's the best way for people to start if they haven't started already?
If somebody's just starting out, they should, try to get an FHA loan with low money down
Yep.
and buy up to 4 units. I mean,
So look, somebody that's just starting out, I started at 19. Even going to an FHA loan was not even an option. They weren't going to loan me anything because I had no work history. Just barely. I dropped out of high school and went to work for somebody. What he's saying isn't a bad idea. Getting an FHA loan is not that easy. He sounds like he's talking about somebody that's just starting out that has a job and that maybe has a little bit of credit.
that's the way I started, and working from there.
I don't know if I should be doing that, going straight to one of these big banks like a Chase Bank or a big bank around me and just
Borrowing money is like shopping. You got to shop around. You go to small guys, you go to medium-sized guys. The big guys are a pain in the ass.
Your local banks are great. Go talk to your local banks and get to know the banker. Walk in and talk to them, and you won't even have to fill out an application before you know that this is the right place for you or not. He'll tell you. Quite frankly, a lot of times bankers be quite honest. They have a board to go to, and the loan officer will tell you, now you're wasting your time here, or hey, no, we got a great program, and they're aggressive, and they believe me, shopping your money is very important. Like Ben says, it's very important. I mean, if you're starting out with nothing, then really it's all about finding a great deal. You find a great deal, then you got to go find somebody that qualifies for it, or somebody that can help you purchase it, or you borrow from a hard money lender, and I wouldn't be afraid to pay 10% interest. When you're young, everything was 10% interest when I started, but because if you don't pay 10% and you have a partner, then you're paying 50% of your deal, which is way too much. Good advice though, all the way around so far.
You got big bucks.
Yeah.
And you got to shop around for money. If the guy that's been getting you the money, he keeps working, go to him and see what he offers you. Then go to another bank and see what they offer you. You lay your cards on the table and you say, here's my financial statement. I own these 3 properties. Here's what they're worth. Here's what I owe. This is how much I'm worth. How much money you want to loan me? That's what you got to do. And then whoever gives you the best deal, you make the deal.
I love Ben because he's Richard and shit, and he says worth.
But you need to get your hands right now. I mean, honestly, I'm not, don't take offense by it, but right this minute, how much money you got sitting in the bank?
30,000.
All right, well, it ain't going to do much for you. So right now, you're sitting around with 150 grand in one house, equity, you got 200 grand in a duplex.
So look, it just depends on where you live, but even anywhere you live, there's areas that are out in the suburbs and different places. 30 grand is not an impossible amount of money to triple. Okay, the deals that are under 100 grand are more prevalent than anything else. I've always found in my experience, and my students are finding out as well, it's much easier to take 10 grand and turn it into 20 than to turn 100 sometimes into 200. But when you've got less than that, when you only have 100 or $10 or $30,000, there's opportunities to buy. You can buy lots. Someplace you can buy houses, but buying land. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities to buy land under market. 10 grand will get you maybe a property that costs 20 that's worth 50. So you put 10 down, sell it to somebody else, a builder, and he puts 20 down. Now you put 10 in your pocket, and plus you got your 10 back. You got 20 now, and he's paying payments to you on the 30 that he owes you. And then if it's a builder, he's going to build, so he's going to go to bank, and you're going to get paid off within the year usually anyways. So there's a lot of opportunities to make money with small amounts of money. Just want to say that. It's 30,000 is not nothing. I started with less. I couldn't even afford to buy the properties I was looking at, but I found a partner in the beginning, and then I had enough. I made $7,500 or $10,000 here, with each deal that we did. After 5 deals, I never needed them again, and I actually assumed an FHA loan. Ben had mentioned FHA. I used to be able to assume FHA loans. And yeah, let's keep watching.
You need to get your hands on that money so you can put that money to work and make you more money. You're a real estate agent. You're a smart guy. You know what you're doing. You just got to get your hands on that money and then go to town and buy the best deals that are out there.
All right, no, you're right, man. Hey, Ben, thank you for everything, man. I'm gonna keep watching all your stuff, man. Keep recommending everybody all your stuff. Keep doing your thing. I know you're going to be anyways, but seriously, I appreciate all the talk and the call and everything, man.
Thank you. Have a great night.
You too, brother. You have a good one. Bye.
So that was a great call, and Ben did give him some good advice. But I just want to add my 2 cents to that, because there's some of that stuff that you could go away thinking that 30 grand ain't going to help you. Also, putting your properties in LLCs individually, I don't think is the best advice. It's not necessary. In the beginning, especially, I don't own any of the properties that I bought 40 years ago. In other words, you turn them to buy better. When I sell something, it's to buy something bigger and better. I don't mind selling a property if I'm going to parlay it into something much better. So let's listen to his takeaways, and I'll comment on that.
So quick thoughts after the call. What do I think? I think the guy said a few things that I did know, and a few things that I needed to hear. So building capital, building liquidity. He's right. I should be building liquidity. He's right. I am already on a good track. I am doing the right thing. I'm excelling what I'm supposed to be doing. But he's right. Finding the deal. So what I took, the biggest things that I took from the whole conversation was.
Hey, so before he says that, I just want to tell you something. One of the best things about having a mentor, and I'm under hundreds of people now, is sometimes it's reconfirming what you know. Like he said he got basically some reaffirmations on what he thought he should do, or what he thought was, it's wonderful when somebody says, yeah, you're on right, you're doing the right thing. Keep going with that. You know what I mean? That's important. Also, you have a sick feeling that maybe you're doing the wrong thing. If somebody reaffirms that, hey, that's a mistake. Don't do that. That, believe me, those things will make you millions of dollars, save you tens of thousands if you're brand new. And, because listen, there's nothing more important than taking the seed capital that you have and continue to make it grow. You can't afford to make many mistakes when you're young. Otherwise, it just sets you back so far because you're young. And, you want to make every penny count. So let's listen to his takeaways.
Find the deal. Find the goddamn deal. Find the deal. So finding a deal, I know where to find deals. I know a few wholesalers, and I could find a few deals. But then the next step is going ahead and getting the capital, getting the money to make it.
I don't know why he's relying on wholesalers. That already is a mistake. You can do it you can find deals on your own, not a wholesaler.
Up, right? Getting that 100K, 200K, whatever it is, to actually go ahead and buy these properties. So building up the money is going to be my next step. I'm either going to do a home equity line of credit, which is a HELOC, if you guys didn't know what that was, or the cash out refi. I think I'm going to do a cash out refinance instead. I'm going to try to do that.
I think that would be a mistake, and I'll tell you why. If you do a cash-out refi, you're going to pay a higher rate than you probably already have locked in with your first, so that would be a mistake. Cash-out refi, you'll figure out it doesn't make financial sense anyways. A HELOC that allows you a revolving line of credit HELOC, you can pull it and you can pay it back. You can pull it and pay it back. It's a revolver. That's what you want. It's very important as a young investor. Let's keep listening.
Just because with the cash-out refinance, they add the loan onto the end of your mortgage. Or they add that whatever money, let's say I try to borrow $70,000 from one of the houses. That $70,000, they'll add it onto my loan, and then they'll disperse it 30 years, and let's say it adds $300 to $400 every single month to my regular payment. But as long as it's cash flowing, we're fine.
Okay, we may be talking about the same thing. He may be talking about, but I still think if they're wrapping it within the same loan, they're going to end up reassessing him a different interest rate that's going to be higher than when he originally got it. So it may not make financial sense. He can figure that out.
And then I'll be able to have $70,000 cash. And I won't have to ever think about that loan. It'll just be one big loan with a mortgage. Compared to a home equity line of credit, it's kind of like just a regular loan. Any money that I use, it's like a separate payment. So you know how it is when you have more separate payments, this and that. I'd rather do the cash out refinance. He's right. I do got to go get more money.
And listen, it's just math. A lot of people don't realize it's just math. I can tell you, I have several lines of credit that are millions of dollars. And like I just had one pop up the other day. I had a little line of credit. I forgot that I even had it for $250,000. And, I told them, I said, well, number one, what's the interest rate? And they said, oh, well, it's adjusting up. Now it's going to go, I goes in the sevens or something because I don't even want it. And they go, no, this one's, it's like 7, it's going to be almost 8, Tom. And I go, yeah, forget it. I said, I'll pay it off. And I wrote a check out of one of my lines of credit that's at 4.5% because I still have a couple of years at 4.5%. And I just cashed that out and got rid of it. I mean, do the math on that. If it's 7 and I'm paying 4.5, I'm going to save $100,000. I'm going to save $2,500 a year. So I wrote a check for $206,000 and cleared that one out. It's just math. You do the math, and you got to look at APR. What do they charge you? Sometimes when you go get a line of credit against a piece of property, you got to pay for a new title policy. Okay, and that's not cheap either. So new title policy, some escrow fees and bank fees. So it's all math. Just do the math.
So I will do that. I'm going to go check. I'm going to go talk to banks. Like he's saying, I have been working with one lender for a very long time. I'm pretty loyal to that guy, but if I can go to smaller banks or anything like that, I do want to go to a couple smaller banks and see what they can offer and lay it out just like that, just like he's saying. I didn't know you could just lay it out like that. You know, I've worked with lenders for so many times, and I'm sure obviously they're going to ask for paperwork and this and that, but like you're saying, they might want to play ball a bit more. So I'll talk to a few small banks and see what I can get for money. And then when it comes to finding a deal, I'm going to find the deals. I know I can. I've seen a few deals. I just haven't been able to act on them. Will I go the aggressive approach and sell all 3 properties and go ahead and just try to take that money and go straight to a deal? Probably not. Like he's saying, it is good to diversify and have my hands in a couple different things. Why not? Maybe just take like he's saying, he took out money with equity loans or cash out refinances, and he continued doing that, and all he did was pay a bigger payment. So I think I'm going to do that instead of actually completely getting rid of one of my investment properties that cash flow pretty well right now.
Yeah, just take it from your single best asset that has the most room in it that you can pull it out. And like I said, hopefully you shouldn't have to make a payment on the money that you have ready and available to you until you utilize it. And then when you utilize it, you're going to buy something that also is going to bring you cash flow, so it isn't going to matter.
So yeah, overall good call. The dude's a man. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got, man. I thought it was good. I thought it was insightful. Even though I've watched a lot of his content, and I watch a lot of other real estate people or personas or anything, and I watch a lot of their content as well. Just that 1 15-minute call, guys. I'm telling you right now, it might just that's information that you might have known already or you might have heard it, but hearing it, talking to the person live right there on the phone, the dude is successful, the dude's doing his thing, right? To me, that got the gears flowing. It kind of calmed my mind down and was like, you know what? These are the things I should probably do. Should you listen to anyone blindly? No. But again, a lot of the information he told me, I understood. He knows what he's talking about. I know a little bit what I'm talking about. So I'm going to take this advice. I'm going to take a couple things, not take a few things, and then we'll go from there, and we'll see what happens. And guys, if you enjoyed that content, make sure.
So look, he's a smart kid, and he's doing all the right things. And, you know, the thing is, Ben, you know, look, Ben is a gregarious, jovial guy. He's like entertainment, but he's enjoying his life after working his ass off. He's in a position now where he can sit here and play and, you know, and show off his yacht and different things, but he's the real deal. He actually really did do these things. And unfortunately, so many of the personalities that are out there, you're the target, you're the money. Of all the people you're going to pick out to get advice from, he's one of the best for sure. Those of you just watching, please check out my book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. You can go to my mentorship at FlipAnythingUSA.com. Check it out. Do you know what a real estate barbell is? Well, you should hang out and find out, because it can make you millions of dollars if you understand how to create one. Real estate barbell is basically when you buy your own home and then you start investing and buying the properties around your home, and then you start investing and buying the properties all around your office or work or your place of business. And then eventually you start buying what's in between. I bought all around my home, and then I bought all around my office and everywhere in between. And you're about to see how you can do the same.
Hey, yo, stop and listen. Time is on a mission to eliminate all of the snake oil and the fake gurus that fake y'all. He'll show you how to build an empire, starting with nothing but a desire. All you really need is a good mentor, not a used car bullshit. With time, you'll learn to crush it. Investing like Warren Buffett. With real estate, you cannot procrastinate. Everyone who hesitates is left at the starting gate. Hey, yo, so don't delay and join today. The mentorship and flip anything. USA, go.